Yo, what up guys? Mike here, coming at you from the Mushroom Farm. Great video for you guys tonight. So anyway, tonight I'm going to talk to you guys about alternative substrates and some low-tech growing methods, alright? So I'm going to do several videos just about alternative substrates just in the future. Tonight I'm going to do a pretty simple one. We're going to talk about utilizing straw as bulk substrate. Just got done doing a farmer's market. I actually had a great night, guys. Sold out everything except like a couple little boxes of mushrooms that I piled in kind of a bigger cardboard box, and then I traded, okay? So what did I trade for? Traded for some, I don't even know what this is, man, like chard or something. I got a whole box I'm going to show you guys. Okay, those of you who don't know, I'm a gourmet mushroom farmer, professional gourmet mushroom farmer. Got all sorts of stuff in there I traded for. And I've been farming mushrooms full-time for 8 years, all right? And just built my new mushroom farm. We're here in Colorado in the middle of the Rocky Mountains. You can see one of the grow rooms behind me. I'm basically standing in my incubation area right now. But if you're in the mushrooms and farming, I've got a whole lot of experience with this stuff. Always doing some cool farmers markets and trading for some cool stuff, man. Look at this rainbow chard, dude. But make sure you click that subscribe button right now so you get more mushroom and farming videos like this in the future. But pretty much sold out at the farmers market tonight. Basically always do that. But let me guys just show you some of the, let me show you guys some of the cool stuff I got. Salad mix. This is the rainbow chard. Oh, I'm so stoked with these guys, man. Kale. You know who I was watching on YouTube that had some kale? You guys ever seen Flair? Flair is a huge YouTube channel. He's kind of like an outdoorsy channel. I got like 2 million, I think he got like 2 million subs or something like that. But he got some emus, and they were feeding the emus kale. So I don't know. Every time I see kale now, the first thing I think about is like emu food. But anyway, you guys, I don't really eat much kale. How do you guys like to eat your kale? If any of you guys are kale eaters. Now, they gave me some, I got some cabbage here. I like to stir fry some cabbage, man. Love some like stir fried cabbage. That's pretty good, or steamed. I just like cabbage. I'm a fan of cabbage. Cruciferous vegetables. This is one of my favorite vegetables right here. Beets, man. I love some beets, but they got some nice beets. You can even eat the greens. I always eat the beet greens. Super good. What else do I have that I haven't showed you guys? What do I have here? That's pretty much it. You know what I did get? There was a woman selling some local cherries. I had this huge bag of them. I have like 2 of them left, guys. 3. That's like all I got, man. That is all I got. Is literally all I got. But we're gonna eat them later. But anyway, that's what I pretty much traded for, guys. Always having a good time with these farmers markets. You never know what you're gonna find in there. These farmers markets here, kind of in this little valley that I'm in, they're all like really nice organic farms. These guys work super hard on their vegetables, so whenever I get a chance to trade or something like that, I'm stoked to do it. But anyway, let's talk about this whole thing about alternative substrates. Let's talk about using straw as a substrate, because that's the first one we're going to talk about. That's actually how I started my mushroom farming business, was using straw. And the reason why I did that, number one, it was pretty easy, and it was a resource that I was familiar with, and I knew how I could source it pretty easily. Fuel pellets, like wood pellets, which is super common, it was actually really easy for me to source those too, but I was just really well versed with stuff like straw. I wasn't really super well versed with using things like wood pellets in the beginning, so for me, straw just seemed like such a great idea, and you can do it very minimalistic. Now, I kind of tell you guys, when you're using straw, you can supplement it, but you don't have to, okay? I kind of think the best way to do it, how I would do it at least, I would just put a lot of spawn in it, okay? So I'd really almost over spawn it. Basically just using the maximum spawn rate that anyone would want to use on straw. That's what I was doing. I was basically doing 33% or 1/3 spawn rate when I was using straw, okay? And you can basically pasteurize your straw. You don't need to fully sterilize it, so that's another benefit. So I was like, okay, cool, this is like a resource that I can source very easily. It's pretty cheap, readily available, and you can pasteurize it. You don't need to sterilize it. You don't need to supplement it. You can just overspawn it. And so that was kind of like my mentality with it. I was like, okay, cool, this is a really nice low-tech thing that I could just get started with. That's why I started using the straw. Now, let's just talk about pasteurizing it and preparing it, okay? Because there's a few things you need to know. Basically, if you're going to pasteurize your straw, you can do it with hot pasteurization or cold pasteurization, okay? Hot pasteurization, guys are typically soaking the straw in water like 160 degrees or so for, I don't know, an hour or two. I never even hot pasteurize straw, okay? So don't take any of that information for me and go out and try to hot pasteurize, because I don't do it that way. I'll tell you guys how I did it. I basically did mine by cold pasteurization, okay? I chose that method because I had tried hot pasteurization, and I just was like, wow, this is a lot of work. And the results, honestly, were kind of mixed. I was having really good results doing cold pasteurized straw. Now, I will say, if any of you guys, because I never really did hot pasteurized straw a whole lot. Now, if any of you guys have suggestions for doing hot pasteurized straw and you just want to drop down below in that comment section, if you've been successful doing it, just tell everybody how you did it, and that way they'll have that information. But I always did my straw cold pasteurized, and here was kind of the thing. So I would source the straw, and then I would get pickling lime, okay? So I just go get pickling lime at Walmart or any big box store. I'm sure you could probably just order it on Amazon nowadays. And anyway, I also had like this big 55-gallon drum. So what I would do is I would pretty much fill up that 55-gallon drum with water, okay? And then you take about a cup and a half of that pickling lime, put it in the water in the 55-gallon drum. Then you get yourself some straw, okay? So you take your straw then. I would chop mine up with a leaf mulcher, actually. What I would do is I would put a tote underneath the leaf mulcher. I would put a laundry bag inside that tote, okay? And I would shred the straw straight into the laundry bag, okay? Then what I would do is once I had all that straw in there, the laundry bag full, I would actually remove the laundry bag, put a new laundry bag in there, dump the laundry bag that I just cut through again, okay? And I would repeat this again then. I shredded it 3 times. I would basically put it through the leaf mulcher 3 times, and that makes that straw really fine, and it's easier then for the mycelium to go ahead and digest it. It basically colonizes faster, and you get a better first flush, okay? So that's how I always did it. I had great results with that, but I would basically shred the straw 3 times, and then I would have it in a laundry bag. Then what I would do is I would prepare my water with the pickling lime, okay? So I took the cup and a half or so of pickling lime, put it in the water, and then I tested the water with a pH meter, okay? You need to get the water up to about a 12.0 pH, okay? It's basically the high pH is what makes the mycelium able to kind of take over, and you don't have any like mold problems or bacteria problems. So anyway, you take your laundry bag then, put it in your lime water, okay? You could put a couple laundry bags in there, and then I would actually stack bricks on top of that. I would soak it overnight. You need to soak it pretty much minimum 8 hours. I would go overnight though. And then the cool thing about laundry bags is you can just take them then after you get done soaking them, and you can just hang it up on a hook. And this could be in the open air. That's the cool thing. Guys, I would just do this in a shed. Okay, so hang it up on a hook, allow it to drip dry, and just drip dry where it's dripping off the excess. Okay, so maybe like let it drip for 30 minutes or so. Then you can take it. I would always take it, dump it out of the laundry bag into like a tote, and then I would just dump my 5-pound bag of spawn straight into that tote. I would mix the spawn all through the straw just with my hands. I usually had gloves on just so I didn't get like straw up in my fingernails or something like that. But you don't have to be like super sterile or anything like that. Obviously don't roll this stuff in dirt, but I would just have a clean tote, dump that straw straight into the tote, put the spawn straight in there, mix it up, and then what I would do is I would take that straw that I had all the spawn mixed in, and I would start packing it into 5-gallon buckets that I had holes drilled in, okay? Put the lid on the 5-gallon bucket, and then that's it. You basically made a little log, all inoculated straw with holes in it already. A lot of people wonder, like, what size holes should you use? I was using 3/4-inch holes, and I would drill several of them in that bucket there. And I would honestly get about maybe 3 to 4 pounds on the first flush or so out of a bucket like that. So pretty highly effective method. As far as contamination goes, you wouldn't really have that many problems with contamination. It would basically take about 3 weeks, and you see pins start to come out of that bucket. So 3 weeks or so after inoculation, you'll start to see pins come out. I used to just take these buckets and I would put them kind of in a corner in the basement. Some people will drape a trash bag over the top of them, and that's a good thing you can do to kind of like help keep the moisture in a little bit, maybe reduce the rate of contamination. But I've honestly just kept the buckets completely exposed before too and had no problems. When I would start to see pins coming out of the bucket then, I would immediately take that bucket and go put it in the grow room. But you can get second flushes, third flushes, all that good stuff, but there is a point of diminishing returns eventually, and the straw basically inside that bucket just starts to kind of like shrink down. The mycelium just keeps eating it, and the straw just keeps on shrinking down. But anyway, that's kind of like a low-tech method. I also am going to talk to you guys in the future kind of about using other stuff, because I've used things like horse feed and other mixtures with like wheat bran and straw pellets with lime water, things like that. I know Andrew Reed on Mossy Creek Mushrooms, I know they've used like dog food and stuff like that to supplement their sawdust blocks, but I just wanted to kind of talk about some alternative stuff tonight, because I'm always talking to you guys, just about like standard masters mix like sawdust and soybean hulls. And I will say, since I've kind of experimented, I've experimented quite a bit, okay? A lot of people wonder, that last oyster mushroom that I grew, that world record oyster mushroom, I saw some people asking in the comment section, hey, what was the substrate? And I'll tell you guys, that was actually like an experimental substrate. That was actually sawdust and horse feed, okay? So I used, it was probably like 30% horse feed or so that I put in that one. And I do all sorts of stuff, okay? A lot of these markets here, you have to sell organic or non-GMO stuff. So I get non-GMO soybean hulls for those markets. But for any other ones that it's kind of like, you know, whatever you want to do, I'll play with different substrates just so I can test stuff and test it myself. Because, like, I don't have any problem eating it. I think it's perfectly safe to do stuff like that. And most of the time, what you're trying to achieve a 4% crude protein. And that's kind of what I shoot for. But I've also played with, I've actually got some blue oyster going over here that is just sawdust supplemented with soybean meal, okay? So you can use way less soybean meal to achieve a higher crude protein percentage. It's a little bit interesting, though, because I will say stuff like the horse feed, for instance, I'll just kind of tell you guys, lion's mane doesn't do as well on something like that, just because I've noticed it doesn't have the sugars in that. Like the fiber content is higher in soybean hulls. So I believe the yields are just better on soybean hulls, probably because of the fiber content, even if you match the crude protein. So I've tried all sorts of different things like that, and I like to give you guys answers to some of these different experiments in case you guys want to try them yourself. But I will say stuff like the horse feed, just so you guys know, I've had good results on things like bear's head. The Hericium americana actually does really good on it. Oyster mushrooms do really well on it. Things like the lion's mane, like I said, I notice a decrease in yields. Lion's mane do best on soybean hulls, pretty much. It's kind of what I do. 60-40 soybean hull is kind of the best way. As far as like the horse feed, if you guys are wondering what is in it, a lot of times you'll see ingredients like wheat bran is in there. You'll see distiller's grains. You'll actually see soybean hulls. Pretty much every horse feed that I would get around here does have soybean hulls in it. So I wanted to just kind of play with it. I even tried some maitake with it, but it was kind of like subpar in my opinion. But honestly, as far as alternative substrates are concerned, I'd say if I had one that I had to kind of live and die by, I'm still going to go with 60-40 Masters mix. Just your standard sawdust and soybean hull, you know. Old faithful. But anyway, guys, hopefully you guys got some good info in this. If you guys got any questions for me on this video, just go ahead, drop it down below in that comment section. I'll be sure to answer any questions, and I might even make a video for it, but hopefully you guys are digging these daily uploads. I'm actually having fun making them. I was thinking all day about the video that I was going to make, and you know, this just popped in my head as I was driving home from the farmer's market. I'm like, you know what? I want to talk about alternative substrates, a couple low-tech grilling methods, and I want to say, too, if you guys want to check out the video on lion's mane low-tech growing that I did, because you can't really do lion's mane on straw. Some guys have done it. The yields just aren't that great. I'll say if you want a better yield, do my low-tech lion's mane method on wood pellets. Okay, I've got that link down in the description box below. Just check it out. But anyway, hopefully you guys found this video helpful and informative tonight. If you did, please drop this video a like. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. But that's all I got for you on this one, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.